going to go ahead and get right into it. Let's talk about The Bachelorette. What are your thoughts about the episode this weekend? This week.
Okay. Well, we started. Last week we were left on a cliffhanger. So the episode started with Jenn. Well, it started with the cocktail party and Jenn coming to tell the guys, BT Dubs, my ex is here. He flew all the way over here to confess his love for me. And the guys start spiraling.
Right.
So, what were your thoughts on that? Because I truly thought he was gonna stay, but ultimately, Jen ended up sending him back.
Yeah, I had an inkling he was not going to stay because we didn't see him in a lot of previews. In fact, I think I talked about that last episode. He just wasn't in a lot of previews, and he just didn't. I feel like they would have teased it a little bit more if he was going to be a character we're going to see. You know what I mean?
Could have been. That's true. Like in editing, we would have known like a bomb like that was gonna drop.
Exactly. And so since it didn't, I think it's safe to say. I think it was a good guess to say that he wasn't going to be on the season.
Yeah. I thought so some of the guys, like, I did not like the way Devin was handling it. He was like, if she lets this guy come back in here, this rose means nothing to me.
Oh, no, I disagree completely. I think that's how anyone would handle it.
What?
So think about it this way. If you're with someone and you're connecting with someone and their ex shows back up and you say to them, I need to go on a couple more dates with my ex. No. You're not going to go, oh, okay, I'll see you next date.
I mean, when you're dating 20 other guys still, I guess we're at 10.
It's their ex. It's their ex.
Well, what? I just don't understand. I don't know. What? It's just because they have history?
Well, it's like anything. I think if you're with someone, okay, if you're like you're dating someone on the first date, you don't expect to be exclusive that first date, right?
Sure.
But if they also tell you, hey, I'm also going on dates with my ex, just a heads up, you're not going to be like, what? Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Yes, there would be some hesitancy there, but I don't know. To be like, it just seems a little extreme to me.
It's like ex or not. It's just like, okay, you've gotten to know us on a deep level. And you're like, I think I still need another guy in the mix.
True. I did like the way Grant handled it. Grant was being very mature about it, I thought.
Right.
Like I don't even remember the exact words he said, but he kind of was just like, listen, if that's what she needs, that's what she needs. I know we have something real. I'll still be here.
Yeah, Grant had a really good episode. It was really mature. He had a one-on-one this week, and I think at first he seemed so cliche, like everything that was coming out of his mouth was a cliche, so I wasn't too sure about him. But yeah, no, he had a mature week, I guess.
I know. I think we both have changed our tune on him a little bit because a couple eps back, I was like, oh, he's just saying all the right things.
Right.
But I actually felt like he was like actually saying the right things and truly meant them this time.
Right. He didn't have red flags, and he definitely seemed to be connecting, and he seemed to be having genuine emotions with Jenn. So yeah, it was a good week for Grant, and I can see what you're saying, how he handled it well. But ultimately, okay, so I forget that guy's name. I looked it up multiple times and I forgot it. But her ex, she doesn't pick him. He comes in there, Matt, and is like, "Hey guys, just want to apologize for all of this. Seems like she's really committed to you guys, and I respect that." And that colored the whole the interaction for me. And to me, it seems to me as like it actually is a pretty common real life trope in that the guys are like kind of there'll be a girl that they just I guess think that they're gonna be with. You know what I mean? They don't really take too much action for that to happen, or maybe they're too scared to, or they're just like, I'll be brave enough eventually. And then they see her progressing onward without them. And so that's when they go big grand gesture mode. It's like,
True.
Please, I've always loved you. Now, a lot of times that's cringe to the girls. It's like, no, we've just been friends.
Yeah.
And then every once in a while it does work out. He was hoping this was one of the times where it worked out. But I think with Jenn, I don't know if he'd come on the show from the get-go and said, hey, when I heard you were going to be on the show, I was a wake up call for me.
Right.
And I want to respect the process. And
sorry. Okay.
I want to respect the process and join you in this journey. I think he actually would have stood a better chance. But again, she made better connections, I think, with everybody.
Yeah,
else.
and when she came back, she said, "My husband is in this room."
Yeah. We got
another husband in there.
Right.
So
that's changed everything for her. I think whether it's the producers wearing her down, or she's actually just taking it seriously, or she was always felt this way, now being vulnerable. Whatever it is, we're seeing the side of long-term commitment. Which is marriage, and an engagement.
Which we've changed our theory for what happens at the end.
Yeah. We changed it because we did see this online. I didn't just come up with it on my own, but a lot of signs are pointing to we thinking and others thinking that this thing that they're alluding to that's never happened before is her proposing to her.
To him.
Yeah, her proposing to him. I was gonna say her guy, her choice.
Oh.
Which I think is what's happening.
Yeah.
It does seem like that's the case.
Yeah.
Because she's almost half smiling. She's like, I can't let you. What did you say? Propose to me?
I can't let you propose.
I can't let you propose to me. And prior to that, it's like, I'm just tired of guys dictating my.
That's what it is. She's like, I want to be in charge. Basically, is what she says.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, that's it. We had this where it started off with the rose ceremony, which is I hate when they do that because it throws the whole structure and vibe of the show off a little bit.
We finally got rid of Thomas in though.
Yeah, it was time.
It was so time. But sadly we said goodbye to John.
John, yeah, he seemed like a decent guy.
Yeah. Oh, and I was listening to Vial Files.
Mm-hmm.
And Jenn was on it, and she said that John we didn't really get to see his personality.
Yeah.
He was really funny and fun, and that's a bummer. I always hate when we don't get to see their full personality.
Yeah, but I also think that's her promoting him being on Bachelor in Paradise.
Well, okay, fine. I'm fine with that.
So I think I'm sure we'll get to see his personality. I'm sure he'll be in Bachelor Nation forever. And so that gets us into... I can't remember. Are they still in Auckland, New Zealand?
Yeah.
So we're still in New Zealand. Maybe not Auckland, but definitely New Zealand. And we got another round of dates.
She went on one-on-one with Jonathan. I'm really liking Jonathan.
It was another Sky overcoming fear
helicopter
date. Yeah,
he was not interested in
bread and butter, but she comforted him and he liked that.
Yeah.
And then we had another Bachelor staple, hot tub time.
Yeah, and they were both just like, we have so much fun together and we laugh and it's fun, but can we have an emotional connection too?
Mm-hmm.
And of course they do. They talk about their relationship trauma.
Right. But I remember his being something a little weird. It was something else. I can't remember exactly what it was.
It was his fiance, I think, that was an addict.
Right. He said that she had a problem. I don't think he said she had an addiction to alcohol.
He said, oh, I guess not.
Well, anyway, she had an issue with alcohol. And he said he was trying to help her, but it ended up to where she was gaslighting him into saying that he was abusive and controlling.
Yeah.
Now, listen, that is a bad situation. That is tough when that can happen, although that's never happened to me. But I must say, we are only hearing that from his perspective.
Sure.
She might be an alcoholic. She might not. She might be, I just like to go out and party with my friends. Well, and the issue he could be talking about is every time you go out and drinking with your friends, I don't know where you're at, and I need to know where you're at. You know what I'm saying? And she's like, that's a little controlling. Then he's like, I actually think it would be better for our relationship if you didn't go drink as much and maybe didn't hang out with your friends. It's like, you have a problem. You know what I mean? And he's like, no. And she's like, but I'll stay with you. And then you see what I'm saying? How that could go from, I was trying to help her with her alcohol issue. Yeah. And she was like, actually, no, you were disconnecting me from my friends and gaslighting me.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that's what happened. In fact, I don't know what's happened.
Right.
All I'm just saying is when someone tells a story like that the very first thought that comes into my head is, I wonder what their perspective was of that
Right.
situation.
Well, yeah, but he did say it was after one of her loved ones passed, her alcohol use really picked up.
Again,
True, that could just be his perception.
right, from her perspective. Yeah, my grandmother died and my friends were really there to help me through tough times. I would have a slog working at week, being depressed, and they made sure I had fun weekends where I could feel like myself again. But do you see how both two?
Yeah,
it's so easy.
Yeah.
Let's say she's on the show. I had a boyfriend who didn't understand my loss. You know what I mean, or the way I processed it, and then when I called him out on it, he tried to make himself the victim and left me.
Sure.
So I'm looking for a guy who will stand by me and won't try to victimize himself. Do you see how easy it is? We don't know the full story.
No, yeah. And I mean, then Jen launched into her past and how her boyfriend was gaslighting her and was controlling. And I'm like, well, he's definitely would never admit that, you know?
Exactly. So I'm not saying that, Jonathan's shady, we shouldn't believe him. That's not
right.
It just whenever I hear one side of a story, I'm always like, I wonder what that other person's perspective was. Because very few times in life ever have people been like, oh, I was totally the villain. I did everything wrong.
For sure.
I'm they're right, I'm wrong.
For sure.
It rarely happens with people like, oh, in my last relationship, I was absolutely wrong. And 100%, he had to get over me. So that's all I'm saying. But
he definitely got a rose.
They kissed in the manufactured rain, if you can call it that. More like
a
producer off stage was a hose.
I don't care. That would be fun.
Yeah. And they seemed to further their connection.
Yeah, for sure.
Then they had a group date.
Yeah.
A sheep wrangling.
They went to a sheep farm.
Yeah, what is that?
Corralling? And the farmer he did not play. What did he say? He called them collective idiots or something like that.
Yeah, he was very blunt with his assessment of their farming talents.
Yeah. Basically, Devin won Farmer of the Day.
Right.
And it made everyone so mad.
Yeah, him trying to find cutout times to spend with her. But when are people going to learn? The Bachelor and the Bachelorette are not about you going and seeing how good you are at the challenge.
Yeah, it's not about being a team player on the group dates.
It's about making a connection.
Yeah.
And especially the lead, their ego is already inflated because they've got 25 people who are trying, who are vying for their attention and affection. So if you can do it in a non-obnoxious way, they're always going to be like, I like that you did that, Devin. I like that initiative you took. They're never going to be like, it was really unfair that you didn't let me talk to a guy that I did not want to talk to desperately. When I only wanted to talk to you. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, I mean, that's just the reality of it. I don't know why the guys fall for this all the time.
I know.
I think they think if they're like, I played by the rules, so I demand time. Like, come on, bro.
Right. No.
This is kind of when we saw Darius. He was on this. He was on the farm date in skinny jeans. I was
Darius?
Like, Darius, the guy from Cut. What's his name? Brian?
Dylan. Oh, Jared.
Well, that's how little he's been on the show.
Darius?
I thought it started with a D.
Okay.
So he showed up to the farming date with skinny jeans, and I was like, all right, it's over.
And he was like, I got new boots. I don't want to mess them up.
So that wasn't a good date for him. Austin was also a little trepidatious. Is that a word?
Mullet Austin was struggling because he knows he's in last place.
This is around the time when the guys are like, okay, we're halfway through the season. I feel like I barely know her.
When it comes down to the last 3 who haven't had one-on-ones, it's like, okay, then I'm not. You're definitely surpassing, your relationship is definitely surpassing ours.
Right. And when they went to the group date, they announced the card. That's when they realized that who was the person that got the one-on-one? Because there was 2 one-on-ones. Was it Grant? Did he have that?
Grant.
Yeah, he had the second one-on-one. Mm-hmm. And so, Austin already was like, well, here it is. But, so, I mean, we can just get to it now. He ends up
sending himself home.
He
just said the same for me. I'm out.
Yep. And
poor Jen, it rocked her world.
Yeah, she was
She was very upset. Well, she was very insecure. She was like, okay, I just feel like I'm not being chosen here. Like, what's going on?
It turned into the console me. one of my remaining 7 guys in
Yeah.
that I also was not connecting with, did not want to continue. So
That
I need all of you to
that's
like
so real
uplift
though.
me.
Like one person can reject you and you feel terrible despite having 7 other suitors waiting for you.
That's true. That's
like that is
true.
so real.
That's true. But I'm just like, I feel that when it's the one of the 7 that you wanted. When it's the guy that you're like, Austin. That's right.
True.
It's like, come on, let's,
Right. Like she wasn't. Right. You're right.
She wasn't. But he leaves. The Grant date goes well. I forgot what they did. They went on. What did they do?
They went horseback riding.
That's right. It was kind of, you ride a horse for a little bit, right? And that was it, right?
Yeah. And then, that was it.
Yeah. And then they had the dinner, but they connected on their family and what that means to them. And, right?
Yeah. Grant talked about how his dad was an addict.
Yes.
And then,
which was an actual moving story.
Yeah. And he's doing better and they're building their relationship. And then Jenn tells more about her ex that he was racist.
Which I appreciated.
Yeah.
That they were able to connect on that because I was like, here we go with Jenn and her ex story. But she illuminated more. Mm-hmm. And I felt like that's something we hadn't seen her. Now, she might have on every date shared that. They just haven't edited it. But that at least we found that out. And it seemed like her and Grant were able to connect on that. So I like that their relationship is growing in a different direction.
Yeah.
Do I see them being? I think it's too late. He's feeling connections, but I think at this point, Jenn has much stronger connections with Devin, with Sam M, with Jonathan, with Marcus even. So yeah, I again, Grant grew on me a lot, and he seemed to grow on Jenn. I just don't think ultimately there's enough time.
Yeah.
So.
For her and Grant?
Yeah, for her and Grant.
But remember at the cocktail party, Grant literally told all the guys that he's falling in love with Jenn.
Right.
And then he dismissed himself to go cry outside.
Yeah.
Like he is falling for her.
Right.
Is he gonna get his heart broken? Smashed into smithereens?
He's definitely going to.
No.
And he's the first guy. I don't know if he will though. But he's the first guy that I was like, and I don't think he's going to be, but he's the first guy that I've been like, okay, this could be a Bachelor contender. Mm-hmm. He continues to show his vulnerability. He's a good looking dude. Mm-hmm. His job is a day trader. That could mean anything from radically wealthy to broken at your parents' house.
Yeah.
So that remains to be seen or verified, but, potentially a good job. Long story short, I think he's our first contender, even though I don't think it'll ultimately be him.
Okay. Who are we thinking final 4?
My final 4 is Marcus, Jonathan, Devin, and it's either Spencer or Sam M. I would have said Spencer, but Sam M did connect emotionally probably the most that he's ever all season, this past season.
Yeah.
And how he lifted it up. He was the first one to do it too. So that's going to be a lasting memory. And when she was feeling low, he was the first one to be like, can I pull you aside? Yeah. I want to let you know that I choose you and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
So he actually, I think, caught up as a final pick. Because at first I was just like, that's going to fizzle out. But they pushed past that and they're actually connecting. So I give him the edge over Spencer because I actually forgot Spencer had a one-on-one at this point.
I know. I think you're right. I think that's probably right for top 4. Okay, should we get into the allegations about Devin?
No, in the sense that
I don't know. Well, go ahead.
My only thought is that is not, to me, that won't become a part of the show until he's the final pick. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, if he goes home next week, it doesn't matter.
True.
Right? Because that's his personal life.
True.
To the allegation, it's not really allegations. It's just the things that he's posted.
It's the proof.
Right, that he's posted on social media. His strong opinions.
He's liked some things that are not nice.
Right. And I mean, that we also really don't know Jenn. For all we know, she might be exactly. You know what I mean? She might be like, yeah, I get it. Yeah, we talked about that. So we're on the same page.
True.
So that's why I was like.
But I heard, maybe I shouldn't say I heard on another podcast. It's pretty reliable.
No, don't say that.
Okay.
Because it's just an allegation. So we don't know if this is true or not. And I do want to say whatever Brooke's about to say could be totally fiction.
Well, and let me not say it.
We have not researched it.
I'll just say it came from Reddit. There's a Reddit post about Devin. If you are interested, go look it up.
Okay. Yeah, we got to get these reviews up. I don't need a Devin Hive 13 months from now to be like, this is the worst podcast ever. How dare you talk about speculation?
I mean, I'd still love to have him on. We can ask him about...
I don't care about that. I'm talking about his...
No, I know, but I'm just saying that we could have him on and we could...
Devin, you actually are from Houston,
put him
Texas.
under the fire.
Under the fire. I don't know these. I guess I don't know what you're talking about. But he is from Houston, Texas. You come on the pod. Let's see if you and Oliver. Never mind. Yeah, come on. So yeah, I think those. Did you discuss your top 4, or you just launched into the?
I agree with yours.
Okay.
I don't know. I could maybe see. She seems to really be into Jeremy, so I could maybe see Jeremy, but I just don't think they've had enough time.
Definitely not. So yeah, Jenn is going. I don't know if we know where they're going next week. It's been a couple of days since if they did show that in the mid-season preview. But we did see some. Looks like she's gonna have some rough times. They show previews of basically all the guys, maybe even getting wet feet, not being sure about the connection, things like that. We did see that Devin at least makes hometowns, unless they do a date in front of a house. That would be kind of misleading. So it's gonna be an interesting season. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I would actually say, although it's been a good season and there's nothing bad, it hasn't been like, I don't know if it's gonna be one of those 5 years, 6 years from now. I'm like, oh, you remember Hannah Brown's season, or
you're obsessed with Hannah Brown?
Yeah, because that's what a true reality TV star looks like.
Okay.
And acts like. Or even groundbreaking, like some
I mean,
of these
that
other
was
ones.
A good season. I'm not gonna lie, but
now, to be fair, she is groundbreaking. She is our first Asian Bachelorette, and so that in and of itself will be memorable. But sometimes I do want to go rewatch some of these older seasons, and I don't know. After the season ends, I'll just be like, okay, I hope it works out.
Mm-hmm.
Moved on. I see this season kind of like Zach's Bachelor season. Do you even remember that?
No.
But you see what I'm saying?
I don't even know the girl's name that he picked.
It's Katie, and I only know that because she came up on my TikTok feed, and I was like, oh yeah. But that was a season like outside of her and one other girl, because she was from Houston. Do not remember.
Me either.
Do not remember. And like, if you forced me to, of course I could, but it's not one of those like, oh, that season was so good. I see that this season heading down that way.
I mean, you already have a much better memory for things like that than I do. So if you don't remember it, not a chance. I do.
Right. So I think that's what we got on Bachelorette this season. This episode this week. It was a good week. But let's hope that maybe we get some ratchet up the drama a little bit. They tried with the boyfriend thing, but
it seems like it will. I feel like we've seen clips of her like kind of getting into it with some of the guys, questioning how they're acting.
Yeah.
Marcus looked wishy-washy in one clip.
Yeah, for sure.
So we'll see.
We'll definitely see. Okay.